guys, welcome back to Tales of Olympus, the podcast where we dive into the wildest, most dramatic, and sometimes just downright unbelievable stories from Greek mythology. I'm your host, Ariel, and today I have some very, very good news for all of you. We have officially reached over 60 countries listening. 60. That's really amazing, and thank you guys for all your support so that we can reach this amazing milestone. So yeah. And also, we have a new comment. It's from Booth, and they say, "I'm listening for Barbados and I love your podcast. Thank you so much, and I really hope you enjoy this season finale and the last episode of the Odyssey and every other episode. As for all of you that are listening right now." So, as I just said, this is the final episode and the season 4 finale. And let's begin. We've watched Odysseus lose his ships, his gold, and every single one of his men. When we last saw him, he was clinging to a broken mast, barely escaping the jaws of Charybdis. Today, we find him in a place that looks like paradise, but feels like a prison. He's spent 7 long years on the island of Ogygia, held captive by the beautiful goddess Calypso, the daughter of Atlas. Wait, correct that, the beautiful Titan Calypso. She offers him everything a human could want: immortality, eternal youth, and a life without pain. But every day, Odysseus sits on the shore, looking toward the horizon and weeping. He doesn't want to be a god. He wants to return home to Ithaca to be a husband, a father, and a king. Finally, the gods on Olympus decide that Odysseus had suffered enough. Athena pleads his case to Zeus, and the king of the gods sends Hermes, the messenger, to fly down to Ogygia. Hermes tells Calypso that it is the will of the gods that Odysseus must go home. Though her heart is broken, Calypso helps him build a sturdy raft and gives him supplies. He sails for 17 days until he sees the mountains of the Phaeacians. But Poseidon, seeing the hero so close to safety, sends one massive storm to shatter the raft. Odysseus is, nearly drowned, but with the help of Calypso's magic veil, he swims to shore. The Phaeacians, moved by his story, give him a swift ship and a crew that sails him through the night. While he sleeps, they carry him onto the sand of Ithaca and leave him with treasures of gold and bronze. After 20 years of war and wandering, Odysseus is finally home. But is he safe? Not yet.
Slow down, Odysseus. You've made it to the beach, but the war isn't over. Your palace is crawling with over 300 suitors who want your throne and your wife. If you walk in there as the great Odysseus, they will ambush you, and before you can even draw your sword. You need the big brain moves of all the moves you have. You need a disguise that no one, not even your closest friends, can see through. Stand still,
says Athena, suddenly appearing. She reaches out and touches Odysseus with her hand. Instantly, his powerful muscles wither and shrink. His bronze-tanned skin turns gray and wrinkled, hanging off his bones like old parchment. His thick, dark hair falls out, leaving a bald, age-spotted head. She replaces his royal tunic with a tattered, filthy rag that smells of smoke and salt. She hands him a gnarled wooden staff. To any eye in Greece, he is no longer a hero. He is just a broken, pathetic beggar at the end of his life. Athena tells him to disguise himself as a beggar and see the things for himself. When the time comes, he will be revealed. And with that, even though Odysseus didn't like the plan, he had nothing to say because, to be honest, Athena has helped him countless times on his journey. Without her, he would have never made it back alive. So, he goes with the plan and makes his way up the rocky trails to the hut of Eumaeus, his loyal swineherd. Eumaeus doesn't recognize his master, but he shows the ancient Greek law of hospitality, giving the beggar food and a place to rest, and telling him what happened in Ithaca and what is happening right now. Do you believe that the King Odysseus will return?
Yes, absolutely. In my opinion, he's the greatest king there's ever been. And his son, Telemachus, is turning out to be a very brave, strong, and handsome fellow. He is currently in search of his father, but I'm sure he will return. Both of them.
Odysseus is moved. There was a knock on the door. Eumaeus opens the door and sees Telemachus, the young man with a sharp eye and a heavy heart. He has just returned from his own journey to find news of his father. Hello, Eumaeus. I've just returned from my journey to find news of my father. Tell everyone, especially my mother, that the great Odysseus is going to come home. Eumaeus is shocked and surprised, but leaves the hut. Athena appears at the door, invisible to the sun but seen by the father. She signals that the time for secrets is over for now. She touches Odysseus again, and his youth and strength roar back into his body. Father? Odysseus? Hello, Telemachus. I am your father. I am the man for whom you have spent your whole life grieving for. I have come back to find you and your mother. Telemachus throws his arms around his father's neck, and the two men weep so loudly that it sounds like the cries of eagles whose nests have been robbed. But the reunion is short. Odysseus knows the clock is ticking. He tells his son the plan. Telemachus must return to the palace and hide every spear, every shield, and every sword in the storeroom so the suitors are unarmed. Odysseus will follow behind, back in his beggar disguise, to see who is still loyal and who has returned. Who has turned against him. He will endure the insults, the blows, and the mockery of his enemies until the moment is ready to strike. The king is standing in his own doorway, and the men who want to kill him are laughing at him. He's testing his son, he's testing his servants, and he's waiting for the perfect moment to take back his life. But most importantly, he's waiting, and he's watching. The next day is the feast and the festival of Apollo. And now, Queen Penelope, the smartest woman in Greece, is about to give him the opening he needs without knowing it. It's time for the ultimate reveal. Penelope walks into the great hall, holding a massive ancient bow made of horn and polished wood. This is the hunting bow of Odysseus, a weapon so stiff and powerful that no ordinary man can even bend the string. She stands before the 100 men who have been eating her food, threatening her son, and makes her final move.
Listen to me, you who have ruined my house. Since you insist I must choose a new husband, here is the test. Whoever can string this bow and shoot an arrow through the holes of 12 axe heads lined up in a row, that is the man I will follow from this house.
The suitors eagerly agree, thinking it's an easy task. One by one, they step up. But they can't string it. They look like fools trying to bend a mountain. And the beggar in the corner just watches them with a secret smile. Finally, when the suitors are exhausted and embarrassed, the old man in rags stands up. He asks for a turn. The hall erupts in laughter. But Telemachus, following the plan, steps forward and commands the bow be handed to the guest. The hall goes quiet as the beggar takes the weapon. He handles the bow like a master musician turning a harp, checking the wood for any damage from the years he was away. With one smooth, effortless motion, he pulls the string back. Twang! The sound of the bowstring rings through the stone hall like a cry of a swallow. Without even standing up, Odysseus grabs a bronze-tipped arrow, notches it, and fires, whistling through every single one of the 12 holes, without touching a single edge. The silence in the room is terrifying. Odysseus leaps to the high stone threshold of the door. In a flash of light from Athena, he stands tall and terrifying in his bronze armor. And this time, he doesn't aim for an axe. He aims for the throat of Antinous, the leader of the suitors. After a while, the suitors are all dead. The king has reclaimed his throne. But there's one last test. Penelope still isn't sure if this is a ghost or a god in disguise. She tests him one more time, telling him that,
Odysseus, I have moved our marriage bed into the hallway. So, I hope you don't mind.
Odysseus is confused. You moved the bed? But it's impossible! I built that bed out of a living olive tree that grows right through the whole floor of the house. It's impossible! That is his secret. Their secret. And that is how she knows it's really him. The couple wept and embraced each other. And they are united once more. The Odyssey comes to an end. Thanks for sailing with us on Tales of Olympus for this massive series. Next season, next week, I will be answering a hard Greek mythology, Percy Jackson, Heroes of Olympus trivia. And you guys, my dear listeners, decide which questions I can answer. If you want to give me a question, you can go to our subreddit on Reddit called r/Tales of Olympus Club. I will be posting there, as well as in r/Camp Half-Blood and r/Greek Mythology. The subreddit links are in the description. Stay tuned. And my name is Ariel. I'm 11 years old, and I will see you next episode. Bye!